loading. It's the funniest thing about life. Your life can be super bumpy. Just like maybe the start of this meditation was bumpy with music and distractions, and maybe your morning was a little bumpy. I'm in a new location, so getting set up can be a little bumpy. But there's a place of peace and smooth sailing inside of us, no matter what. And all that is the place that accepts what is, that sees what is as what is. And that includes our emotional responses, that includes our irritation, that includes our hopes and dreams and fears, includes our physical discomfort. All that's accepted as what is. And now you have a 30-minute trip to the ground. And you don't have your phone and you don't have anyone to talk to. There's nothing you need to plan. It'd be pretty amazing to be jumping out of a plane and going, okay, what do I need to get for groceries later? I'm sure people have all sorts of weird thoughts, but it doesn't make any sense, right? So as we're in meditation, you can let the rest of your life be the rest of your life. When you get back to ground, you can go deal with that stuff. We float down. And we just have the experience. Jumping out of the plane, I'm sure, could be very pleasurable, but I'm sure it could also be terrifying, exhilarating, uncomfortable. The only job is to have the experience of these 30 minutes. How long can you go just having an experience? It's probably only a second or two, unless you're really deep in the meditation. But if you can notice the difference between the second when you are just having the experience and the second when your mind comes in and tries to judge it or evaluate it or correct it, then you're well on your way to getting the benefits of meditation. I'm not giving a lot of guidance here, talking, but it's really just a repetition of the basic instruction of be here now. Be here now is a good instruction. All three of the words are redundant. If you're just going to be, you'll be here and now. If you're now, you're being, and you're here. One of the key obstacles, maybe the key obstacle to meditation, is not one that's easily described, but it's the obstacle of making your meditation be a servant to your mind. It's inevitable, so don't beat yourself up for it, but the mind, especially for those on the Zoom call, ultimately, it's not really the mind that brought you to meditation. In some sense, of course it is. Of course it is. Unless you just had a big awakening before you came to meditation. Of course, the mind's like, I'd like to feel a little better. I'd like to be more calm. I'm curious about X intellectually, or like to have less anxiety. So the mind has good reasons to bring you to meditation, and that's part of the reasons you're here. But it's a very strange thing for the mind to want to do, because true meditation is not in service to the mind. Another way of putting this is your 30 minutes of meditation are not part of the drama of your life. When you're really meditating, the 30 minutes are outside of the drama of your life. It's an opportunity to put down the drama of your life. And yes, we can talk to the mind and tell you this will actually be useful in the drama of your life. This will make you function better. This will make you feel better. All sorts of true things about the benefits of meditation that the mind can use to justify being here. And at the beginning, that's fine. But at a certain point, you have to realize that to do the meditation, you have to stop doing it in service of the mind. It's not in antagonism to the mind. It's 30 minutes to be your true self, which cannot ultimately be defined by your narratives. In true experience, the only thing connecting you to your past is your mind, is your memories of the past. And the second you stop remembering for a moment, then you let go of your past. It doesn't mean it goes away, right? It doesn't mean you stop being able to remember. But you start to realize that remembering is just another piece of furniture in the world. You are not the memory, just like you are not the tree you see outside. I see a memory in my mind. I see a tree outside. Neither of those are me. We have an addiction to going, that's me. I'm this memory. I'm this memory. I did this. I did that. I need this. I need that. I'm having this going on. I need this. It would be no different if we said, I'm that tree. I really am that tree. I like that tree. I mean, that tree is all about me. That's what we do. We hook on to our memory. But if you look closely, peacefully, or just accurately, authentically, you see the second you stop remembering, having a conscious memory of what your problems are, the problems are no longer there. They're no longer your problems in that moment. Life brings difficulties to this body, and we all know that, and we experience them. But the mind brings those difficulties into every moment of our life, as opposed to just the times when they're really there. And that's the function of the mind. We're not angry at the mind for that. What we're practicing them in our 30 minutes is 30 minutes that are not in service to the mind story. 30 minutes that is just experience. 30 minutes where we don't know, in the sense of the mind, who we are. We get to free ourselves from everything we've said about ourselves and everyone else has said about ourselves. With your eyes closed and your body not moving or doing anything, you really could be almost anywhere. You're hearing a voice, but that could be anyone. It could be any time in history. You can't see your computer, you can't see your room, you can't see your body. If you're paying close, if you're just sort of sitting there, you probably can't tell if you're a man or a woman or how old you are. You don't know what your job is. You don't know what your illnesses are or what you have to do later. Yes, the mind can call these things up, but they're fleeting and they're gone in a second. And you don't know they're true. They're just images and sounds in your head. You may be on a veranda in the Middle East in the Middle Ages. You see those images come through your mind as I say them, and they're just as fleeting as the images you carry around of the room you think you're actually in. We don't have to carry the weight of our memory through every moment of our day. There are very few moments in life when we can actually deal with a problem. The rest of the time, we can just be, we can experience. You have to jump out of the plane, you have to pull the parachute, and then you've got to land. But everything in between, I lived in French Guiana for a while, which is in South America, and it's completely off the tourist loop, and there's no way to get there but by boats and planes, and nobody there but jungle, really. I'd sit on a rock looking out of the ocean, and my whole body felt different because nobody knew where I was. Nobody could get in touch with me. And I love people, I love my family. But I felt different because I didn't have to carry around the weight of that society with me. It's a kind of retreat before I knew what retreat was. But every meditation, every 30 minutes is a kind of retreat. Some are more challenging than others, depending on what our distractions from the external world are, or what our distractions from our physical body is, or how intense our mind is. I'm not saying that this is easy at first, and it can always be difficult. But try that on. No one knows who you are. During these 30 minutes, no one knows who you are or where you are. No one knows what your profession is. No one knows what your role in their lives is. We're not getting rid of these things. They'll all be there when you need them. But what does it feel like to put those roles down? When I'm an actor and I take on roles, it's really important to learn to let go of the role after the scene is over. So there's some very dark scenes and very difficult emotions to have. We as humans have this capability to take on a role and then put down the role. When you think of it like an actor does, you realize the role is completely ephemeral. It's just something I put together in my mind with other people. They put it together in their mind too. And it doesn't mean we might not play that role for a good portion of the rest of our life, but we don't have to carry it because it's made of nothing. So it's very light. And so sometimes our meditation becomes, or most of the time, our meditation becomes a servant to the mind. We're only doing it for mind designated purposes. And while we're doing it, we're constantly evaluating it, whether it's giving us what our mind said it's supposed to give us. But you only get the ends, the benefits of meditation, by letting go of the ends. It's a paradoxical practice. And when you let go of the ends, you realize there's benefits your mind did not know about and could not know about. And so we sit on a veranda in the Middle East in the Middle Ages, And no, we don't know about all the political strife, or don't worry about any of that. That's just a smell and a sound of wherever you are right now. You don't have to imagine anything. There's a bird outside. That's a bird in the Middle East. You don't need to know the species, or your body is a body from that time. Maybe you're a shaman in that period, or maybe you're a prince. And as I tell you this, the reason I'm telling you is you might start to be able to experience that, your mind generating that story, right? But you don't hold on to that story tightly or heavily. There's something you might find, something freeing in imagining that story. Something like, oh, that's a little bit more spacious, because for a moment, just for a second, you're not holding on to your normal story. Not because that story is a better story. It's because you hold it differently. Now, the way you hold this story about being in the Middle East, you can hold your own story, the story you think is the real you. As if you just come into this body, and when you open your eyes at the end of the meditation, you will get to discover where in time and space you are for the first time. And you jump out of the plane, and then you're just in space. And there may come a time to land, but what will that landing place be like? There's really no point in thinking about it. You can just land and then look around. So we're going to start coming out of the practice here. Something useful to notice is, as we've been practicing holding our memory with a light touch, you may have noticed the things your mind holds on to keep you locked down, right? To keep you in place. Those are useful markers to notice what is being used to build the cage. There may have been some physical discomfort, or a certain memory, or a certain kind of intellectual argument. These aren't bad things. You just want to notice that they have an outsized place in the patterns of the mind. And the more you notice them without believing them, the looser and more ephemeral they become. But they're just part of the geography of our consciousness. We don't have to be mad about them. We want to be awake to them. So you've heard me many times talk about meditation like taking a trip in a boat to not where, and getting out off the boat into a foreign city with foreign smells and foreign sounds and foreign sights, foreign language. We usually do that at the beginning of meditation, but you can do that now as we finish up the meditation and you open your eyes and you can look at your room and your day and your life and your body in this way, as if you've just arrived in a new location. And you can notice what part of the mind rejects this experience. And the emotions, what emotions reject this thought experiment. But you can also notice that part of you that is open to it and ready to look at the room around them, to the feelings in your body, as if they are new, fresh. Unknown. Okay, so when you're ready to open your eyes and you can move your body, whatever feels comfortable, it's really useful to come out of meditation gently and explore your body in a way that feels new and fresh. Your body might want to move in a way you're not aware of. Can you just listen to it? Who am I? What does this body like to do? What does it need? What kind of hug does it need? What kind of touch does it need? What kind of movement does it need? Maybe it just wants to keep sitting here still. That's fine too. You can be a little artist and improvisational comfort giver to yourself. And
이제 존재했다를 배웠지.
on with your day.